Hello, everyone. Welcome to Zuri Training once again. Welcome to the design track and welcome to DSN 100, um, Introduction to Design, where we're going to be talking about everything you need to know in order to get started in this newly found design career. And we're also going to be covering the different aspects of design that we need to understand so that they can help us become really great UX UI designers at the end of the day. Before we proceed, my name is Damilola and I've been a product designer for over 5 years. In my time as a product designer, I've been able an opportunity to work with a lot of clients, both foreign and local. I've been able to help them bring their ideas to life through websites, web apps, mobile apps, and everything in between. And during this time, I've been able to understand a number of things that I think would be beneficial to you, which is why we're here today, so that I can share those things with you and hopefully they can help you as you climb higher on these product design ladder. All right, without further ado, we're going to be heading straight into the first thing that we need to talk about, and it's really the introduction to design. So, when we hear design, a lot of times there's these misconception that design is all about moving pixels, bringing shapes together, and creating something cool. Yeah? That couldn't be more wrong. Design goes deeper and farther than that. Design is more than just making things look pretty, but at the core, it's about solving problems and improving experiences. As product designers that want to become great, it's good to always keep it at the back of our minds that we need to stop thinking about ourselves as mere product designers, but as architects, as engineers, as people that are crafting experiences, people that are crafting solutions. Because really, what happens is that oftentimes designers tend to think about themselves as just designers creating something, and then it's now easy for any random comment or any random occurrence to push them away from the actual project supposed to take, and then there is chaos, there's problem, there are designs that don't scale, there are designs that don't work, and then the client start complaining and the designer starts going, oh, but I did what you wanted, I did. It doesn't work that way. Really, we need to start thinking of ourselves more as architects and engineers, and we need to start understanding that what we are doing is not necessarily just bringing shapes together, but we are solving problems for people, for humans, and helping them to improve their experiences. In the context of product design, why we're here, really, it's all about creating digital experiences that are not only visually appealing, but also intuitive and easy to use. So, what does this mean? It basically means that we are here today. We're talking about design in the product design aspect because really design is wide, right? There are different phases, but the reason why you're here taking this course today is because you want to become really great product designers, right? So in this case, it's really about creating digital experiences that look good, like that look very good, that are aesthetically pleasing, and that are also very functional that people can use. Because at the end of the day, if your products are not useful, there's no point. There's really no point why you have them in the first place. So whether it's a website or a mobile app or a software interface, design always plays a crucial role in shaping how humans interact with technology. And that's a fact. Okay, let's take for example, imagine that you're designing a mobile app for ordering food. And we see a lot of that around. There's the likes of Chow Deck, Jumia Foods, and the like of that. But imagine that you're designing something, a mobile app like that, right? So how it works is a good design would not only make the app look good with enticing images of food and all that, but it will also be built or be designed in such a way that users can easily navigate through everything, right? So it will be built in a way that it's easy for users to navigate to where the menu is, select what they want, complete their checkouts and everything easily without frustrations. I've come across a number of apps where I want to perform an action. I want to order for food. I want to do something, but I'm unable to do that because it just got frustrating at some point. I was not able to proceed. I'm trying to click something, it's not working. I'm trying to navigate somewhere else. There's no back button. It was just a very, very frustrating ordeal, right? So nobody wants to experience that. Nobody wants to do that, right? Nobody wants to get frustrated. And this is where the principles of UI and UX design comes into play today, right? It goes deeper than it goes deeper than designing things that look good. It goes deeper than that. It goes deeper than that. We are designing experiences, we're designing solutions. So this should literally be what is at the back of your mind every single time you're approaching a design problem, right? Okay, what am I trying to build today? What is the end goal? How are we going to approach this, right? And this is going to lead us into the next couple of topics that we're going to be discussing about, because while one aspect of designing great experiences is understanding what you need to do, there are two phases that needs to be addressed. There is the UI aspect of things, and then the UX aspect of things, right? And we are about to dive into those shortly. So let's talk about UI, or user interface. Like, what is it? How does it help us? What is the point, right? User interface, or UI design, focuses on how the product looks while guiding users through their journey. So when you open a new app today, when you open a new app, or probably an old app, and you're loving what you're seeing, you're loving how the colors are, how bold the fonts are looking, you're loving how everything is seamless, as how the placement of all the elements on the screen is helping you navigate seamlessly. That's user interface, right? It's a accumulation of everything that you're seeing. So like I said before, there are two aspects. There's the UI and the UX. So while the UI focuses on the looks of the product, we also have UX, which is user experience design, which focuses on how the users feel when they navigate through the product. So that's why it's always possible that you would visit a website and you are immediately captivated by the hero section, the high quality image that they use, the style of the font, how it's looking cursive and everything. You like the weight of the body, like the font, the site looks so modern, and it's blowing your mind. And then, I mean, that's good UI, right? And then you want to navigate, but you discover that it's lagging, right? Maybe because there's a lot of elements, there's a lot of interactions that's happening, there's a lot of background movement. The site is not responding to your mouse. It's not scrolling as fast as you need it to scroll. Everything is just everything is just very, very slow. Now, in as much as you liked what you saw when you came in, there's a there's a 99.9% chance that you're going to get tired of having to struggle, and then you're just going to bounce off that site out of frustration. Now, this is why UX is very, very important, because in as much as UI can help companies, help designers capture attention, it's the user experience, what these people feel when they are trying to navigate, or when they are navigating through your product, that determines if your product is a success or a failure, right? How many of us have maybe at one point or another installed an app out of excitement and tried to perform some actions, but because we're not able to go past a certain point, we're just like, you know what, I can't go through with this, and then we end up uninstalling the app that same day. It happens a lot of times. Why? Because sometimes designers and product teams majorly focus on how the app looks, how the site looks, how the software looks, and they don't pay as much attention to how it functions, like how everything works together, how users feel when they are navigating through the app. Are they frustrated at any point? Are they able to make decisions faster? Are they able to access the actions that they need as fast as possible? Because really, no one wants to waste their time. Everybody wants to be able to do things seamlessly and quickly. That's why whenever a new product comes that can do things faster than an existing product can, people port without thinking twice. Why? Nobody wants to waste their time. Even if it's 1 second that you're going to be saving for them, they are going to want to take you up on that. They want you to help them save their seconds. They don't want to get frustrated or spend too much time trying to perform a single action when there's another app out there that can help them perform it without, in just two keystrokes. right? So these are the two aspects of product design that we we need to understand if we're going to be designing and delivering excellent experiences for our users. Now, it's very easy. It's very easy for people to get carried away with one aspect of this. It's very easy for people to say, "Oh, I'm better when it comes to UI. Oh, I don't know how to design great UI, but I'm better at UX." Even though, right, there are job roles out there today that tell you that, oh, we're looking for a UX designer, we're looking for a UI designer. At the end of the day, understanding how both aspects work and being able to function very well in both aspects is always going to put you ahead, right? Because it's one thing for you to be able to design something that looks good, but if it's not realistic, that's why sometimes we even get in we get situations where designers are done designing stuff that they think is so amazing, is the next level idea, and then when it comes to time to develop, the developers can't even phantom what's running through a designer's head. They cannot implement this. This is not realistic. It wouldn't work, right? That's also why we encounter problems like that, because sometimes it's very easy to get carried away with design. It's very easy to just want to design something out of this world and go. But at the end of the day, it's the usability that matters, which is why brands like Apple, Google, they have been able to water down their designs. Like when I say water down, not the terrible kind of water down that now looks completely terrible. No, they've been able to scale down the craziness in some of their products just so it's easy for users to navigate. That's why if you go to google.com today, all you're going to see is a search bar that says what are you looking for, where you can just type in what you're looking for, and buttons underneath that can help you actually search once you finish typing. There are no distractions. It's not like Google does not have great designers that can start bringing blocks together and start making that google.com page really look very amazing. They have those people, but they've done their internal meeting and they've been able to realize that it's not putting a lot of design elements there that will make google.com an excellent search engine. It's helping people stay focused. So the idea is that what do we want people to do when they come to google.com? And of course, the simple answer is, oh, we want them to be able to search for what they're looking for, right? And another thing is when they click on search and the results come up, what do we want? What do we want to happen? Do we want to bore them with a lot of things, or want to show them their results immediately, right? And of course, the answer to that is we want them to see their results immediately. So that's why Google's OG designs of listing everything out with the the titles also being links that users can click on has been functional since the beginning, and it's still functional till date. You see how these thinkings come into place, right? So it's not just about how it looks, it's also about how it feels. Then we are not saying because we are saying experience is important, then design should look terrible. No, they both work hand in hand. It's not UI versus UX. It's never a competition. It's UI and UX. You need both to create experiences that work, to create experiences that are functional, to create experiences that will keep people coming back. Okay, so now that we understand the difference between UI and UX, let's move on to talking about some differences between them. All right. So why UX design focuses on the full experience of a user's first contact to the final stage of their journey, right? UX is everything from when they visit your product till they navigate to the end. UX is involved in every phase, every aspect. But then UI mostly focuses on the visual touch points that allow users to interact with the product. UI is about oh, what I'm seeing, how what I'm seeing is helping, stuff like that, right? So that's one of the difference between them. Two, why UX creates structural design solutions for pain points that users encounter anywhere along the um, journey with the product. UI creates a combination of typography, color palettes, buttons, animations, and imagery, which is exactly what we've said, right? So when you're thinking UX, you're thinking things like, oh, the user research, even the likes of wireframing comes under the UX because it's after those structures have been put in place. Where wireframing comes in is that the team is going to come together and they are going to decide what the problems are and how they are going to approach them and the possible approaches they can take, right? Which is why there are different elements in wireframing kits that you can just drag around and bring together to form sample interfaces, right? That's how you have the image elements, the button element, the text element, the heading element, the body element. You have a lot of elements in your wireframing kit. These are not designs, like these are not UI designs per se. They are also designed, but they are under the UX parts of things. So what happens is that you can bring those wireframing elements together just to create a structure of the journey, right? So if I'm bringing my logo on the top right and a button on the top left, or a logo on the top left and a button on the top right, I'm creating a journey. So if I'm saying the logo should be on the left, it means that I know that when people scan through a site, naturally they scan, people read from left to right. And it's the same thing when they're scanning through products and interfaces, softwares, they scan from left to right. So if I'm putting the logo by the left, I'm saying that, oh, when they visit this platform, when they visit this software, I want the first thing they see to be my logo. So from viewing the logo, they are going to navigate straight to the right. Now they view the logo, maybe the option on the right now says menu. So it's more like, oh, we've seen the we're seeing the logo. This product belongs to Google. Now, what are the things that I can do? And if I don't want to click on the menu, then I now come down. I probably see an intro about what I can start doing and stuff like that. But basically, that's what the wireframing is all about, right? It helps you map out a structure. It's when this UX side of things is done that you can now start designing, which and in this case, we can now start saying, okay, this logo that we put on the left, this logo wireframe element that we put on the left, let's change it to the actual logo so that we are no longer seeing a dummy there. And this button on the right, what color can we use to best grab the attention of the people? Or do we want to grab the attention like prominently using that button, or we want them to continue reading and maybe come back when they want? So it's things like this that's where UI comes into place, and you start deciding, okay, let me use this color instead, let me make this font bigger, and then you start bringing in the likes of hierarchy, combinations of typography, choosing an excellent color palette. We're also going to be talking about the likes of laws of UX, typography, um, colors, and the rest of them throughout this track and in the subsequent courses. But that's really the difference, right? That's where UI comes in. So why UX deals with the underlying things, the structure, the foundations of everything, UI builds on UX, which is why in every case UX design has to come first before UI design. Sometimes a lot of designers make this mistake where they start designing first, put UI together, and then they now start thinking about the UX. But no, yeah, but you're supposed to work out a structure. Without a foundation, the building is not going to be as solid as it should be, right? So it's important. It's very, very important that you figure out the UX. And during the course of this program too, we are also going to be sharing more and more examples of items that you find under the UX checklist, and more example of the items you find under the UI checklist. But yes, UX and UI work hand in hand. It's not either one or the other. No, they both work hand in hand. And then the result of UX design is products that delight users with their experiences and their effectiveness. So basically, when the UX aspect is done right, when the research and the testing, the structure of the site is solid, then at the end of the day, when the site goes live, when the product goes live, when the app goes live, it just delights people. That's why you hear people say, "Oh, this app is the best for this. Oh, my experience with this app has always been great." People have testimonials about apps that have made their lives the most easiest. So the question is your product going to be one of those products that people talk about and they're like, "Wow, we love this," or is yours going to be one of those ones that they talk about and they're like, "It was terrible. I couldn't even navigate. I had to delete it at the end of the day," right? And of course, when UI design is done right, it results in products that delight users aesthetically. So that's why I've always been hammering that they work hand in hand, because why good UX is going to produce effective products, good UI is going to produce visually appealing products. So if you're able to bring them together and come up with a platform that has good UX and good UI, you're going to end up with a product that is that is so great that people are going to be the one advocating for you. You are not even going to have to, like, the company wouldn't even have to, they wouldn't have to do a lot of advertisements, really. It's just going to be great, and people are just going to start buying and keep buying. And at the end of the day, you're going to be happy. And the more you're able to do this, you're well on your way to becoming, you know, really, really great UX and UI designers. All right, so we're making a lot of progress. We're making a lot of progress. Now let's talk about some similarities between UX design and UI design. Now there's a whole lot of them. There's a whole lot, and obviously after this session, we are going to have, a time where we can talk, a Q&A section where you can ask me any questions that you have, and I'm going to be answering them. But now let's just talk about very few of them. Very, very few of them. One, both UI and UX designs are centered around the users. That's one of the similarities that they have. At the end of the day, when it comes to UI, we're talking about aesthetics. It's still to the users. How do they like what they see? Are they seeing the designs and the element and they're like, wow? Or are they seeing it and they're like, this is terrible, right? So at the end of the day, UX and UI design are centered around the users, and they both aim to create products and experiences that are intuitive, efficient, and delightful to use. So whether it's designing a sleek button layout or streamlining a checkout process, both disciplines prioritize meeting users' needs and expectations. And that's just the gospel truth, right? It's all about the users at the end of the day. It's never about you, which is why one of the common advice I would keep on giving designers is that they should learn to detach themselves from their work, because at the end of the day, it's not about you. After you've designed something, it's the users that are going to use them. So if the users are telling you something, you should not be so tied to that work that you fail to listen to what they're saying. You have to listen to them, right? It's very, very important. So that's one. And two, UI and UX designers often work closely together, collaborating to create cohesive and impactful designs. They share common goals of enhancing user satisfaction and achieving business objectives. Collaboration between UI and UX teams ensure that the visual design aligns seamlessly with the overall user experience design. This is another aspect. They often work together. Like UI and UX work together. It's not UI versus UX. No, we've been saying that they are together, right? So the understanding that there is a need for collaboration is also going to help us generally as designers, because UI alone wouldn't cut it and UX alone wouldn't cut it. There are apps that are very, very functional, but people also, walk away from because they look completely terrible. You don't want that at all for whatever product that you're going to be working on going forward. So always keep it at the back of your mind that UI works better with UX, right? Good UI and good UX come hand in hand. And then UI and UX are always centered around the users. In fact, design in general is centered around the users. It's never about you. It's always about them. And after this live, we're going to be looking at some examples like of designs, UI and UX. So we basically are able to understand better what we mean when we're talking about the fact that they need to work hand in hand. There has been great products that end up, messing up just because the UX side of things was terrible, right? I'm going to go deep into that. We're going to go into those right now. So I have some examples here to share with us. Now I came across this meme, and I was like, this is a perfect example of what can happen, when the UI aspect of things is given more priority than the UX. Now you would see this walk, like this road that we have here. It's obvious that the engineers paid a lot of attention to this, and then they constructed the road properly. But the problem is that people don't want to walk all the way to a point before they are able to turn to head directly for their destination. No, if there's a way to make it shorter, people are going to take the shorter route, which is what we said about journey, ensuring that the process is as streamlined as possible. Nobody will take a long route when they don't have time to take a long route. And a lot of times people don't have time. 24 hours is not enough for humans. Like, you hear that a lot, that there's not enough time, there's no time for this. So at the core of every product, you need to ensure that you're always streamlining the process. Now, the designers obviously worked on a part that looks, pleasing to the eye, but the users are telling the designers obviously that, I mean, we love your part, but It's too long. I don't have time for that. I'm rather going to take here instead. And you can see that from this picture, obviously a lot of people are taking this shorter route, that it has turned into a road on its own, right? So that's one of the things that we need to keep in mind. It's very easy to get carried away with design, but do not get carried away with design. At the end of the day, it's they both work hand in hand. Design without good experience is terrible. Good experience without good design is just as terrible, equally as terrible. We have another example here of the Apple Magic Mouse. As and when the Apple Magic Mouse launched, it was really a big deal. I mean, it was so cool that everybody wanted one. It was not until people started experiencing this problem where once the battery is low, they cannot use their mouse while they're charging it, and that's very terrible. Because I mean, even if your mouse charges fast, you don't want anything to hinder your progress at work, right? So imagine that your work, your battery probably ran low during the weekend, and then you're in the office on Monday and you're trying to work, but unfortunately, and let's say you work better with a mouse, and unfortunately, you cannot work for about 30 minutes to 1 hour, maybe even 2 hours, just because you have to charge your mouse first. That's terrible UX. The Apple Magic Mouse looks very cool. It's a very fine design, but the UX of the charging was terrible. All right, and which is why even today you would hear this complaint, and people will tell you that I would rather go for another kind of mouse instead, just because I can charge while using it. Right, and I had the opportunity to experience this, and I can also tell you for free that this problem is a very serious one, because no one wants to be delayed, no one wants to have to wait. Have you ever wondered why you're also able to press your phone when you're charging? Imagine that you can't press your phone when you're charging, that once your battery is dead, you have to leave it, and then it has to be full because before you can start operating your phone again. It's going to be very inconvenient for people, because nobody has users don't have that kind of patience. They want to be able to do what they want when they want, without any interruption, without any delay, right? So at the core of your product, you have to always keep this at the back of your mind, that it's all about them. Even if this looks good to me, is it going to be functional for them? How can we make it even more functional for them? It's all about them. And then I think I have one final example here. Yeah, look at what happened during when COVID was still rampant, and then we all had to wear face masks. You would see at some point that people were abusing the face masks when they're supposed to obviously be covering their nose. People like expose their nose and cover their mouth. That's not the sole reason why there are face masks. You're supposed to cover your nostrils and your mouth, right? So that even as you're talking, you don't spread bacteria, and then you don't inhale any. That's how it's supposed to work. But people are going to abuse that, right? And then there's the case of the ketchup bottle. Like initially, ketchup bottles were designed like this, where the opening is at the top, and then you have to sit it upright. But then when people want to use ketchup, they have to start shaking and eating the base of the bottle. That was terrible, right? And at the end of the day, new designs of new packaging designers started coming out, where it's just going to be upside down from the get-go, so that when you need it, you just pop the cap open and then you squeeze. That's way better UX, right? So I hope you can see the difference between these two, and how we need both of them to work properly, right? Nobody will buy stuff if they are ugly, right? You have to keep it at the back of your mind that what attracts people is the UI. Like UI brings them, and then UX keeps them. Very important to note. UI attracts, UX retains. Very important. So at the end of the day, it's not one against the other, like we've always said. They always work hand in hand. So I hope that we've been able to understand that design is more than putting pixels together. It's about creating solutions and functional experiences. And I hope we've been able to understand that UI design, which is user interface design, and UX design, which is user experience design, they are not in a competition against each other, right? They are not in a competition against each other. They always work hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. So we shouldn't get carried away with this. Oh, I just want to be a UI designer. I just want to be a UX designer trend. You need, even if you want to now focus on one, build up your experience on one, you still need to understand both. Because quite frankly, there are companies that have UX teams, a group of UX designers and a group of UI designers, and of course these people work hand in hand. But a lot of companies don't have them separate. A lot of companies have, one person or the same people handling both, and all those people have to work together. So you cannot just stick with one. You need to understand both, even if you're not the one doing every single thing that needs to be done under the UX, because a lot of times you can't be the single one doing everything. There's A/B testing, there's research, there's the prototyping that comes in, there's the wireframing, there's a lot of things to do under UX alone, right? So it's understandable that you can't do everything alone, but it helps that you understand the basics, understand the necessities, understand the structure. Like, you understand that without a good structure, the product is going to flop. I understand that with a good structure and a terrible UI, the product is also going to flop, right? So you need both in order to create memorable experiences that people will keep on talking about and people will keep on coming back to. All right, so that brings us to the end of this session, and you just take your time to go through everything we've talked about. Take your time to listen, take your time to meditate on them. And on Wednesday, we're going to get a chance to up on a live class and just, throw questions around, so you can ask your questions and I'll be available to answer them. And of course, after that, we're going to have the assignments for you to submit. But yeah, I hope this has been very impactful. I hope you've been able to understand the basics of design, and you'll be able to understand the basics of user interface and user experience, the difference between them, the similarities between them, and hopefully with the visual examples that I gave, you'll be able to see in real time how good UX and good UI are mandatory for building excellent products, or products that provide excellent experiences and also look good while doing that. All right, thank you very much for your time. Talk to you. I'll be hearing from every one of you on Wednesday. All right, bye.